say is this particular meeting, the year-long meeting is about Astro, as Sujit pointed out, and there we have been working on large number of time domain aspects in this particular working group. And what we thought is that because there is a large community in India and there are many projects in India that have been going on related to that, getting people involved and having some cross-fertilization of ideas and so on will be of interest. And that's how this came about. So trying to get the time domain stuff going on more in India, because smaller projects have been going on for a long time now. And so let me say a little bit about what kind of subgroups we have within this specific working group, and you'll hear many talks related to those, but this is a very, very broad overview in that sense, that we are trying to come up with data challenges. So you know that if you want to present a certain problem and you want solutions, then what you need to do is that have a particular format in which you can present challenge questions. And that we have found is not a trivial thing because of the diversity, inhomogeneity of the data sets that we have. And in particular, if you want to get people involved who are not from astronomy, who do not have the domain knowledge that astronomers have, getting people from CS and statistics and mathematics involved, then you need to put the data challenge in a specific format. So we'll be having talks related to that. Then time series. We have all kinds of time series. So how does one go about doing things with them? And especially if they are gappy, heteroscedastic, and so on. So designing specific features involving time series becomes quite important, and trying to bring in domain knowledge, but also perhaps methods that other disciplines have been using for a long time, but which we have not been using, trying to incorporate those is going to go a long way. So I'm not going to run down the entire list right now. I'll be doing some of that in the next talk that I'll be giving immediately after that. But to summarize here, then there are about 25 members in this group, and we hope to at least double that size. As Sujit pointed out, most of the meetings happen over internet. So, and if there are specific Indian groups, we can also have times that suit that. So alternate weeks, perhaps one or the other, and then some kind of a summary meeting and so on. The other thing is that there is a huge interconnectivity of the subgroups. Though these subgroups have their own mandate and different things happen there, it is the interface between those subgroups that become very important and interesting, because that is what really builds onto the ideas. And then I mentioned specifically LSST here, but there are of course many other time domain surveys that are going on, but LSST is the big thing out there coming up in a few years from now, and there the number of events and the rapidity with which we'll be getting events and the need to classify them in real time and so on, and how all these connect with that is what becomes important. So those are some of the things that we hope to discuss more. And so what we'll want to do in this meeting is that we sent out emails beforehand so that people in their talks won't give typical science talks where they present results on what they have been doing, but present challenges. What are the things that we can be talking more about? What are the things we can be working more on? And then have discussions specifically around those challenges, see how people may present the same challenge in different ways perhaps, how different challenges can talk to each other. Maybe someone already has solutions to some of the challenges, we just don't know. So trying to bring that about and foster collaborations, I already mentioned that. But the main thing is really going to be in this meeting an emphasis on discussions, lots of discussions. One of the things that we had said earlier is that we'll have a few posters. We still hope to have that. So there is scope for you if there are ideas that you will not be presenting in your talks, and if you want to present something as a poster, we can print something out here and put those. So if there's something like that, you should feel free to get in touch with us and we'll be able to get those posters as well. And so I won't be taking much time in this right now, but this is how the various interconnectedness bits of the work are likely to be there. So at the end of the day, it's the physics that we need to get to, but how to start with data, go through methodology and get to the physics of all different kinds of objects that are involved and how they may be connected with each other is that what we're going to see. And the way I view these things, and others may have varying views, classification is the overarching challenge that we have. Given a set of objects, what kind of object it is, being able to say that quickly. And many times, many people are interested in specific types, but in order to be able to separate that particular type, we need to know at least a little bit about all types. So getting to the commonalities between different types and the differences between those types is what becomes important. And if we could get to the bottom of that, that'll be great. And again, nature of light curves, mainly, again, because of how surveys are done. Partly, weather affects how we observe them, but again, partly there are specific surveys which go after specific kinds of objects. That determines how their cadence should be. And still, we should be able to use those surveys for other types of objects. So how we can make that happen through various methodologies. And again, what I started with, that doing the whole thing, looking at all those features and ancillary information, that is really the grand challenge. And I hope that through the discussions that we can have here, we can push some of the boundaries there and start collaborations that can go on, not just up to the transition workshop in May, but beyond too, and set up some interesting things. So that's all that I have to say in this introduction. And of course, you'll be hearing details on all these through many different talks. And again, this is the list of subgroups that we have. So I'll stop with that.